everybody, it's me, Miss Jessica Lahore, and oh my goodness, we're back with another Jess Talk. And for today, we're talking about pride, what it feels like to be prideful, and why is pride so important this season more than ever. But you want to know what else is more important than ever? Subscribing to my channel. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications, you subscribe, and you're not missing out on any Lahore content. Plus, we're streaming these Jess Talks on all platforms. Don't miss out. Okay, pride. Let's get into it.
Attention Lahore, attention Lahore, attention Lahore, attention. Here I am walking down the street, seeing all the boys trying to take a peek. Shorts pulled up, a chest out right. Come on, boys, just take a bite. Look but don't touch, spin it round and round. Crazy.
So this is my second Jess Talk on pride, and I really wanted to focus and think about what the purpose was. When I talked about pride last time, and you can reference the video, we'll even put it up, I talked about my pride experiences, the ups and downs, like why I enjoy going, what it means to me, things that have happened to me on the center stage, yada, 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 yada. This year, it's a little different, and I think it's no surprise to anybody that is watching this video or that is just paying attention barely in the world that this is a very different and difficult year for the US, for queer people, for trans people of color, for drag artists, for any identity that is not the cis straight man Christian, sometimes woman, not even that. I'm just saying you got your own issues too, but it's beside the point. You know, it really makes me think about why do I enjoy Pride season? Outside of the fact that this is my job as a drag artist and going into spaces providing the queer experience for so many different groups of people, I'm reminded more than ever when I'm looking out into the crowds, the influence and the power that I have of being on a microphone, of being on a stage, what message I want to come out throughout my number. And it hits a little bit different. Pride this year is so important simply because it seems to be a daily battle, which if I'm looking at how the world is on a day-to-day, I feel like I'm in some reality live action Austin Powers movie with the way that our administration is targeting and treating queer individuals and trans individuals and drag individuals in this country. The amount of lies, the amount of misinformation. And throughout this Jess Talk, I am referencing and quoting so many other incredible drag artists putting out these messages, influencing the messages that I'm putting out. And collectively, we're all standing together because drag is a forefront protest for creating change, logically getting messages across. And we do so every day. But pride gives us more of a reason to do so. I look at artists like Felony Misdemeanor, Zara Misdemeanor, Shirley Delta Blow, Dixie Crystals, and several others that at every show and event remind the people in the audience about their impact, about their support, about their allyship, even changing the language of what an ally means in the current world that we're living in. The administration we have is not letting us forget that they want to erase these communities from existence. And what they won't understand is that we will always have a piece of the world. We will always exist in your schools, in your doctor's offices, in your courthouses, in your entertainment sectors, in your restaurant businesses, in your stores, in your grocery stores, in everything. These communities are impossible to erase. It's easier to say that than to see what's going on, as we have so many trans individuals and queer people struggling every day, waking up, figuring out what rights they still have, what ownership they have over their bodies and their choices for the direction of where they want their life to go. The amount of policing and the amount of control that our administration wants over a very free group of people is exactly why pride is so important. It's exactly the purpose of our existence in a time like today. I mean, that's not the purpose, but it has become the purpose. There's a lot of fear. It's not grooming, it's not changing gender, none of that. That's all distractions, because those are easy and obtainable things that our administration is able to lock in on, that other folks that are already afraid of these groups are able to hold on to and use against us. When in reality, it's the fear and lack of understanding and ignorance behind looking at a group of people able to confidently show up authentically and unapologetically themselves in brighter colors, more proud of their body, the skin that they're in, being more proud of the people that they love. And all of these things are why pride is important. I say that queer people get to live an amazing existence every single day, very loud and proud, but that's not the case for every queer person. Sometimes pride is an opportunity for folks to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident in showing up as that authentic self, or to find events and communities of people that resonate with something they may have been feeling on the inside. Now, I know I'm jumping around a lot, but when I go back to this administration, I look at how long the folks in this community, especially trans individuals and trans women of color, have been fighting for visibility, to take up space, fighting to be heard, to be valued, to be concerned and cared about. It's wild to me to think that the trans community and trans women of color have still and continued for the longest amount of time to have visibility, to feel heard, to be allowed to take up space in any space that they walk into, to feel valued and to be cared for and to be put first in cases where they're put first for danger, put first for safety. And I look at the Stonewall riots. I look at how drag artists and trans individuals have shown up and shown out for as long as 1969, when you had three baddies, Sylvia Rivera, Stormy Delivery, and Marsha P. Johnson, three trans individuals of color, stand up for their right to be in a space and to be themselves in that space. You threw the first brick, you started the riot, you're the forefront of a protest, and 40, 50 years later, we're still fighting the same battles.
Fighting for gay rights, and people were killed.
Nobody was killed at Stonewall.
Nobody was killed?
Now, I would say the difference and the reminder that I'd like to put out into the world right now is that I would say in a lot of cases, the internal community of the queer community are coming together and reminding each other that we work stronger in numbers. We work together best when we are supporting each other and not fighting each other. And that our queer community individuals are supporting the L, the G, the B, the T, the Q, the I, the A, the plus, and every identity possible. You don't get to pick and choose which ones you want to. And we still have a lot of inside hate and gays for Trump and all of these groups of individuals that are queer identifying that are only okay with gay men and lesbian women, period. It makes no sense to me how we can have so much division in an administration that is using that division against us. Don't be one of those people. Pride is important because it's representation. You got straight people every day being like, well, we don't have a straight pride. Why? Because your straight pride is in every space and every day of life. And know that two prides can exist together. Now, just because June is gay pride doesn't make you less of a straight person. And it doesn't take away whatever pride you have for being a straight person. It's a reminder, like we do with any national week or day or month, to focus on individuals that don't get the spotlight as often or throughout the year because they're not looked at as equal, because they don't have the same rights, because they don't have the same visibility, because us showing up and showing out, decked out in rainbow and being loud and proud, is a stance that says that we're here. A lot of us are queer and we're not going anywhere. I have to encourage the folks that are watching, as I've changed my language. If you're an ally and you're watching this video, I love you.
Ally.
And I would also say you're doing the bare minimum. Your support for watching this video, sharing it, commenting, liking it is great. But what are you doing to take some actionable steps? Some of my sisters, closest sisters here in Denver, have changed the language and said, in the administration that we have, being an ally is not enough. We need you as an accomplice. As much as the queer and trans individuals are on the front lines, speaking their minds and yelling at audience members and telling them what's going on and reposting information and getting people out to vote and making sure to point out the wrongs and the laws and the bills that are being passed and being put on the table, your job is to do that work and then some. Your voices as a ally or accomplice are so much more powerful in a lot of spaces than the queer ones that you get to support at these fabulous events or during the content moments. Pride is important because representation matters. And like I said, we're not going anywhere. So think about the folks that are internally struggling with the idea of if they could be queer or not. However, what if that the only people they see are the hateful ones that are saying being queer or being trans or doing drag is wrong? It's not okay. It's a sin. It's inappropriate. It's disgusting. It's should be put in jail. You should be killed. What is the end goal? What is the end goal for somebody that looks at me and says, you deserve to die? Do you think that's going to get rid of trans? Not as long as you all keep procreating. Let's talk about that. What I don't understand is the amount of involvement this larger community wants, because they want the involvement. They want to be involved in our lives because they don't understand. They don't understand how we can have so much self-love and community and happiness and joy and not feel the need to hold back our masculine and feminine and our blended sides. Let's say they take away Pride Month. Do you think that's going to stop Pride celebrations? Do you think that's going to stop people from flying their flags, from showing up loud and proud? No. There's nothing you can do. There's no actions you can take, and there's nothing you can say to remove these communities. You might try to hurt us. You might try to restrict us. You might try to divide us, but it's not going to work. We will show up. Pride as a queer person is every day. And the reason that we have it for a month is to encourage the folks that have been feeling something different inside, to give them the opportunity to feel seen, to feel loved, to feel heard. Whether you're coming out at 80 years old or coming out at 12, your existence matters. Your happiness matters. Pride is a protest. Pride is representation. Pride is a celebration of love, acceptance. Pride teaches tolerance, unfortunately. Pride really shows how far people are willing to fight for the safety of others. It's beautiful. It's for everyone. It doesn't matter what size you are. It doesn't matter what identity you are. It doesn't matter if you're straight. It doesn't matter if you have kids. It doesn't matter how old you are. Pride is for everybody to enjoy. So if there's anything that you can take from this video about the importance of pride and your influence on how to make pride even more of a celebration, here are some ideas, tips, and this is just a small list of many that you can ask your friends or even brainstorm for yourself. 1, for my allies and accomplices in the world, you can go to queer spaces and events. Be part of the celebration. Don't take over the celebration. Be part of it. Encourage your ally and accomplice friends to come. Bring your family to the appropriate events. It's important that you don't feel like you have to separate from that. The second thing, be part of the protesting pieces of Pride. Be part of the groups that are at the Capitol making change to make day-to-day life safer for our trans siblings, for people of color, for queer individuals as a whole, in all realms, our queer educators, our queer nurses, our queer artists. The next thing that I can say is you're going to be surrounded, whether you wanted to or planned to, you're going to be surrounded by individuals that are going to perpetuate and use the lies and misinformation that our administration is projecting. And you're going to have an option and a choice when you're in those spaces, whether it be a stranger or somebody you know personally. You could walk away and not get involved. And I'm going to encourage you to do the opposite. I'm not saying you have to attack anybody. I'm not saying that you have to yell at anybody. But providing insight or an offer to learn and be educated is a lot different. And when you hear misinformation or these lies, you've got to use your common sense, your heart, and you got to step up, even in the scariest of times, not to just shut it down, but to explain why it's incorrect and why the information is misinformed. I would say finally, this Pride season, if you're looking for something to do to be more involved and supportive of the queer community, I would highly encourage you to research different identities that exist in our alphabet soup. Learn that it's about learning about the person, but it's generally about just treating people with basic human decency and kindness. Me being queer, me being a drag queen, me being trans is not a single reason for you to treat me less than the person that is not a drag queen, not trans, or not queer. What is the saying? Everyone bleeds the same. It's true. If you put two people behind an X-ray and I said, look at those skeletons, tell me which one is trans, tell me which one is queer, you'd never guess. You'd never know. Because that's the whole point we're getting at. The beauty of the world is that different communities that are different can exist. Be reminded how much kindness goes further, how sometimes it's not necessary to know somebody's gender. It's not necessary to know what kind of genitals they have. It's not necessary to know what pronouns they are because you're confused about what they might want to be called. It's not hard to respect somebody by their name. If you can do it with an ocean, you can do it with trans people. Just saying. It is not hard to show people the decency, love, respect, safety, security, and just overall basic human needs that everybody deserves to have. Simple ways you can get involved. And that's outside of voting. That's outside of getting involved in your legislators and being impactful that way. These are how you can directly be involved in your communities. Be involved. Take hold of an opportunity to be with us. We're stronger in numbers. It's Pride season, baby. How are you showing up? Loud, proud, and queer as hell? I want to know down in the comments below. We'll see you this Pride season. All the love. Bye. Everybody say love.
I'm an intentional whore. Can't help it, bitch. I'm an intentional whore.